let's lower the price of electric vehicles so we never have to pay at the pump in the first place. Major auto companies are preparing for 50% of future sales to be electric vehicles by 2030, 100% by 2035.
That's President Biden yesterday effectively promising to put the big oil companies out of business. Less than 24 hours later, his energy secretary today begged big oil to bail the administration out. Today, Secretary Granholm met with 4 executives of the biggest oil companies and refiners. She demanded they take major action and offer big sacrifices along with investments to bring down the cost of gas at the pump. It's a far cry from the same woman, well, just a couple of days ago.
What is the Granholm plan to increase oil production in America?
Oh, we need more drilling of gas. We need more drilling of this. We need to go back to coal. No, we don't.
We don't want to be under the thumb of petro-dictators. We really want to see us move to clean energy.
In other words, bail us out of the gas price crisis today, but we will put you out of business after the election. It is incredibly difficult to imagine why that hasn't gone over very well. Energy and environmental expert Daniel Turner joins us, founder and executive director of Power to the Future. Good to see you, Daniel. Thank you. There's got to be sort of like a moment of I told you so, or wow, isn't the irony rich here that you all are experiencing?
Yeah, I've been on your show a number of times and we predicted this, right? And to see it all come true, it doesn't make me feel particularly smart. It's just that you're able to read the economic indicators. And this administration entered in with a lot of bravado. Their first day, they signed numerous executive orders. They said they were going to do these things. And anyone who knows this industry said, well, this will be the result, right? Well, the result is going to be incredibly skyrocketing prices. That's going to affect the entire economy. And here we are. So how the Biden administration didn't see this, it says a lot about who these folks are. But remember, who these folks are a bunch of politicians, right? Jennifer Granholm was a governor. Joe Biden was a senator. They're a bunch of elected hacks. And I'm sorry, people who have spent their life running for elections don't understand how the world works, let alone the oil and gas industry.
Let me put it a different way. There's been sort of this trying to shame the oil and gas industry, threaten the oil and gas industry. Now it's begging the oil and gas industry. Forget how to win friends and influence people. Is there anything the oil and gas industry can really do?
No, the only thing that we could do is increase production. But why would we increase production? Look, Biden keeps talking about these 9,000 leases, right? Even though that's a lie, let's just run with it. If you have one of these leases, you need to spend about $25 to $30 million in capital to produce oil from one of those leases. Say you're lucky. Say you produce 500 barrels a day and you're like, wow, that's a lot of oil. And 500 barrels a day is great. Do the math with me. 500 barrels a day at $100 a barrel. How many years is your $25 million investment going to take to be paid off? Right?
But Q1 profits. ExxonMobil, $5.5 billion. Chevron, $6.3 billion. Shell, $9.13 billion.
Yeah.
Does making all this money when the American people are hurting, that doesn't do much for your PR, does it?
There's no doubt that the oil and gas industry is making profits right now because prices are high. But they would much rather make their profits on volume than on price point. And a proof of that is look how much they were investing in the year 2018 and 2019. They were investing hundreds of millions of dollars when oil is worth $60 a barrel. Why are they not investing at $110 a barrel? Because they know people like Jennifer Granholm say, I hope you're out of business in 5 years. So again, that example I was just using, how many years do you need to pay off that investment? And you're telling us you want us to be out of business in 5 years? Well, it doesn't make any sense. So yeah, they're taking their profits and they're sitting on them because the Biden administration tells us, and let's be really blunt, he told us he wanted to put our executives in jail. Right.
So yeah, when someone tells you they want to kill you, take them at their word, which is what they've said. We all know the oil and gas industry isn't going out of business in 5 years. If anything has proven that, it's been the past 6 or 8 months. Should your industry, and you as one of the leaders in it, worry that making all of these profits, which are legal and legitimate during these times, though, increases the risk of Elizabeth Warren and others getting some real momentum behind big regulation or price controls or government takeover and the like?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a great point. But I just have to ask, where was the sympathy for the oil and gas industry at the height of the coronavirus when oil was negative 40 a barrel, and we were laying off hundreds of thousands of workers, and we were losing 20 and $30 billion a quarter because of the price plummeting, right? So if we're going to socialize our wins, are we going to socialize our losses as well? I also don't see this level of scrutiny for some of the heroes of the Biden administration. How come the Pfizer and Moderna CEOs don't have to explain their huge profits, right? So to hate on oil and gas right now because of what the Biden administration does to us, I mean, it's just wonderful political opportunism. And like I said, these are all politicians.
What's the plan, though? I think probably the only people who are equally unpopular, perhaps right now, to President Biden is the oil and gas industry. People are angry about it. What do you do about that?
People are angry, but if you look at the polling, they're not angry at the oil and gas industry. They put this solely on Joe Biden. And the reason why is because they know the policies he enacted, and groups like mine have put all of his words. Look, the best foil for Joe Biden is Joe Biden. You can go to powerofthefuture.com and see his own rhetoric against us. So he's tried to blame Putin. He's tried to blame COVID. He's blamed us. He's hauled us before Congress. People know that this is Joe Biden's fault, and Joe Biden brought this about.
The last polling I saw was about 40% of Americans specifically blame him. We talk about looking forward, and you are correct that you've been predicting this for a while since we've had you on the program. This is the Exxon CEO just a couple of days ago talking about the current supply crisis. Take a listen.
You're probably looking at 3 to 5 years of continued fairly tight markets. How that manifests itself in price obviously would be a big function of demand, which is difficult to predict.
Doesn't exactly sound promising.
No, it doesn't. If you look at when oil, the industry was at its peak, which was the end of 2019, it took the Trump administration almost 3 years to get to that point, right? It took a while. This industry takes a little while to come online, but boy, you can take it offline really, really quickly. What's going to drive down price are two things: increase the supply, and Biden will not do that, or decrease the demand. And that is what he is aiming for. But decreasing the demand means we are in an economic recession. And so, yes.
So we're not going to decrease the demand with electric cars.
Well, no, you won't be paying for gas to drive your car because you don't have a job, right? You're not ordering takeout food because you don't have any spare money. So as we fall into an economic recession, and make no doubt about it, we are headed towards a severe economic recession, you're going to use less oil and gas because of your economic misery, and that's nothing to celebrate.
Well, you've earned the right to make predictions. We'll see, sadly, if they come true, but you've definitely proven fortuitous on this. It's good to see you, Daniel. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.